Shalom, precious people of God. Welcome to another episode of Times and Seasons with Dr. Bako. Today we'll be concentrating on the gate of education, training, and development. Good evening, Dr. Bako.
Good evening.
Thank you for the honor of being here to talk with you again on Times and Seasons.
Thank you very much for giving the privilege of having you interview me again. And thank you, viewers, for the privilege of your time, privilege of your attention, privilege of your fellowship, privilege of having this opportunity to go on this journey together in exploring how to possess the gates of the society together. Thank you.
So like I said, we're looking at the gate of education. How did you come about in the first place with education as a gate?
Well, like I've said in previous episodes, we looked at how do we access the society? What are some of the access points, ports of access for both entry and exit? And we realized that one of the very important ports of access that we use to access people's lives and people use to access the rest of the society is education. And when you talk of education, what are you really talking about?
We'll come there. Good. So, I was looking at some dictionary definitions for education, and I came about, I think, about 3. So I'll just quickly go through, and then we can find out your own definition for education. One of the definitions I found is education is the process of receiving or giving systematic instruction, especially at a school or university. Then another one says an enlightening experience. So education is an enlightening experience. And then the third one I found is education is the process of facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits. Of course, using various educational methods like teaching, training, storytelling, discussion, research, directed research. So, sir, looking at all of these and seeing what we have in society today, what is education?
Education, to me, has to do with the ability to draw out the best in man for the benefit of society.
Interesting. Can you repeat that?
I said the ability to draw out the best in man that is meant for expression for the benefit of the whole society. Because the word educare or educare or educere comes from e and duko. E is the Latin equivalent of ek in Greek, which means out. And then duko, to draw. So when you're able to draw out the best in man, the best in you, that God put in you, that is meant for the progress and for the benefit of the entire society, for every human being on earth, then we are educating you. Until I'm able to help you to discover the best in you, help you draw that out, help you develop that, to deploy it, I haven't fully educated you. So a lot of times we confuse literacy and numeracy with education. What we're talking about here is ensuring that people understand what it means to discover what it is that God put in you that is unique to you, that is meant for the rest of society, the rest of humanity, and then help you develop it as we draw you out, and then deploy it or demonstrate it for the purpose of the benefit of the entire society. So yes, it requires training, it requires development, it requires, directed research, it requires all of these other things that have been mentioned. But my key point here is from the etymology of the word, educo, to draw out the best that God put in you that is meant for sharing for the benefit of the rest of society. So when I help you express the best that God put in you for the benefit of the entire society and the rest of humanity, definitely I have educated you. Until then, I haven't fully educated you. I might even help you to read and write, which is just, what we call literacy, our ability to crunch numbers, which is called numeracy. Literacy and numeracy is not exactly education. It might be a means to an education, but it's not education in itself.
It makes me think that in school, many children, many students have not been able to find their way, maybe because what was in them has not been brought out. So, like somebody is saying that I'm interested in arts, fine arts. I love drawing. I'm passionate about drawing. I'm passionate about the arts, about history. But my parents wouldn't let me take those subjects because they think that it's useless. It has no future. But this is really what I want. But then because my parents, and even not just my parents, even my classmates would laugh at me. So if isn't that what is bubbling inside of me that should be drawn out? But it's rather suppressed. It's rather discouraged. So then that is not education.
Actually, that's stifling what is supposed to be the deposit of God in you. That's not education. That's miseducation. That is de-educating. That is, it's like a dumbing down of your creative capacity. Now, when it comes to that, can I say something? A lot of times people actually say things like, well, I want my child to be a medical practitioner. How about medical art? How many people, draw anatomy and all that? This is the kind of person that you should then have encouraged. If it came to the aspect of, okay, I want my child to be an architect, what better architect than the one who can actually do the artist's impression, apart from just drawing, straight line technical drawing and all that. He is able to actually come with the artist's impression, models and all that of the building that he has designed. Industrial design, fashion design, and all of that. This person can be versatile in many areas. You can actually end up with a person also being, somebody who is a legal artist, where he draws things to make legal teaching better, or, he even draws the setting in a courtroom, or he's able to even draw based on the description they've given him of a criminal, and they're able to now say, okay, then that's how the person looks, and all that. So there are so many areas of application. Why do we limit people?
Why do we limit people? Really, it's a very, very pertinent question. Why do we limit people? Would you... now, looking at education, would you say that our education helps us deal with life's challenges?
Of course, you just said, for example, something that is a very interesting experience, or life itself is an education. That's one of the statements. Because when you have an experience that actually helps you learn a lot about life, maybe going to the beach, doing all kinds of things with children and all that, anything that takes you through a process of learning new things about life is an educating experience. So is education actually will help you really live life to the full. So you are not educated until you can get life skills, life values, and life virtues. Now,
you may need to
explain that. Okay.
Take those life skills, life values, and life virtues.
Okay. Let me first of all start with the fact that the average person already has facts, thoughts, and ideas and skills.
So, would you say that an educational system then should be geared towards promoting these three things?
Yes, because most of the times we're giving people facts, thoughts, ideas. but we need to give them skills. And there are many skill acquisition centers now. You know, early childhood learning centers with skills acquisition and all of that. Education, yes, training centers and all that. Then, apart from that, you also have places where now people are saying, hey, you know, Singapore, some of those other nations of the world are talking about values. Values are very important. You know, they realize that they were not really giving as much values. South Korea, some of the other places, some parts of Africa, values, values, values. Yes, that's very good. So skills, knowing how to do things and all that, knowing how to make things, skills. Then values, in terms of moral values, etiquette, you know, all of those other things, relational skills, you know, and the values for evaluation of situations and even relationships, how you handle people and all that, the values that become the guiding principles. Then you come to the aspect of the virtues. Now, virtue, I use usually the fact that for those of you that are Christians, that are believers in the Bible, you read the Bible, Jesus said, virtue has gone out of me when it came to a woman with the issue of blood that had suffered with, you know, the issue of blood for 12 years. It says she had, you know, suffered in the hands of physicians, of doctors for 12 years. Now, she said, if I might touch the hem of his garment, I'll be made whole. Now, Jesus said, virtue has gone out of me. Who touched me? And, you know, Peter says, come on, you know, Master. I mean, you know, everybody's touching you. I mean, there's a whole press, you're a crowd. Yeah, I mean, pressing around you. I mean, hey, sir, we've tried our best. We've tried our best, but it's not possible that nobody will touch you. You know, so we're very sorry about that, but definitely somebody has touched you. So no, this was a different touch because virtue has gone out of me. So how did he know? Because that which God had given him, which is called virtue, the power to meet needs that you find in the environments, sometimes without being conscious of that need, is what is called virtue. So education should enable you to have the versatility to meet any need you find in your environment, sometimes without even being conscious of it. So that's what I call virtue. Virtue, the ability to meet needs, because you're talking of moral excellence, you're talking of manliness, you're talking of power to meet needs.
Okay, so I'm thinking, well, the real purpose, I heard somewhere that the real purpose for education is to prepare you for working and for relationships.
Yes, is to prepare you to meet needs, which will include working to meet the needs and, you know, meeting needs in your relationships because of relational skills. So that whoever you're in relationship with, you'll be out to meet their needs as they are out to meet your needs. Don't always be looking for how you can take advantage of people, you know, to meet your own needs. That's not the best, you know, when it comes to virtue. Virtue would actually say that you should be out to meet the needs of others. Seek to understand rather than being understood. Seek to, you know, serve rather than being served. Seek to meet needs rather than looking for ways for people to meet your needs. Because as you do that, give and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together and running over, shall men put in your laps. This had to do with forgiveness, for example, primarily in Luke chapter 6, verse 38. Though people use it for giving money. But in every area, you know, whatever a man sows, that shall he reap, according to Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. We all know that. So at the end of the day, when you sow that level of trying to meet needs, you'll have more people that will be trying to meet your needs too.
Okay. So now, it seems as if many people, I don't know whether it's maybe the educational systems over the years seems to suggest that many are more concerned about getting good grades, good marks, than actually learning.
Okay.
Would it be the system of education
that
is responsible for
we
this?
had systems of instruction that are not necessarily systems of education from our definition now.
From our definition. Definitely.
Systems of instruction that have to do with literacy and numeracy, transfer of knowledge in terms of facts, thoughts, ideas, and sometimes skills, but not that much, but not much values, not to talk of virtues. So as a result, you have situations where people are paper qualification focused rather than ability to solve problems in the society, practically being relevant
In the real world.
in the real world. Because if I am evaluated based on my grades, then definitely what you're telling me is I should get the grades by all means. So I am paper qualification focused, grades focus, certificate focus, and all of that. So that then everything is centered around my grades and the letters after my name, PhD, DSc, all of the other things that you could talk about, including the fact that I'm Professor Emeritus, or even for some people, most people should have been ambassador, a plenipotentiary, extraordinary. But, some people want that written, ambassador, extraordinary, plenipotentiary. So then come on, I am special. As against what value am I adding to the society? What virtue is coming out of my life to meet the needs in my environment? That's what should be the basis of evaluation. I am looking forward to the time where we will evaluate people based on how much impact they have made on other lives, their environment, their community, their city, their nation, their generation, history, as against, what position they hold, what possessions they have. Because, that's mnemonic most of the times. People are thinking of position and possession. And as a result, when it comes to interviews, people are saying, okay, let's have your CV. Let's see how many qualifications you have, how many certificates you have, how many degrees you have.
But it looks like somehow these days, that's not what
people are getting tired. Yeah, people are getting tired of that because, they have realized that those degrees don't necessarily translate into your usefulness at the workplace or in the workplace. So at the end of the day, we're back to what I was saying, that we need to focus more on education, skills acquisition, values, development, because values are not as easily acquired as skills. So skills acquisition, values development that will now make you a virtuous person that can meet needs that you find in your society, your environment, in your company, or your city or nation.
Very interesting, very interesting. Let's look at those of us in Africa here. What would you say is the architecture for education in Africa, Asia, Europe, and other parts of the world? Does it look like it's the same?
Well, actually, one of the things we're working on is how to do, equalization. So equalization programs, equalization methods, equalization systems being developed, where you do educational equalization, so that what you get in Europe is what you get in America. What you get in America is what you get in Asia. What you get in Asia is what you get in Africa. What you get in Africa is what you get in Oceania, which is Australia, New Zealand, all those places, Polynesia, or Micronesia, all that. The question is, what do you mean by that? Well, we come up with a way that whatever you're getting, barring environmental adjustments that we'll make, will be of the same quality.
Okay, same quality, yeah.
For all of these locations. And all it takes is for you to know what is most important and give that to the people. You can then adapt to the environment. That's why I say barring, yes, environmental adjustments, because you now have to adapt to the environment for the purpose of meeting the needs that are in that environment. So if it comes to priorities, which should be the most important priorities? If you have oil as the main thing in your nation, which I wouldn't say it should be the main thing, you should have other things that are more sustainable. Agriculture, and even in agriculture, if it's cocoa, then the kinds of things you should learn will be things that have to do with cocoa processing and cocoa-related products. If it has to do with cotton, then you're talking of textiles and all of those cotton-based industries. If it has to do with groundnuts or peanuts, then you have to do like somebody who ended up with about 300 different products from peanuts. George Washington Carver, all of that. If it comes to maybe in your own case it's coconut, coconut oil, coconut husk, having the coconut shell activated carbon, and all the other things that are supposed to come from that. So that then whatever it is, palm kernel, whether it is biodiesel from palm kernel oil, or it is something that has to do with the oil being one of the things you can use even for cooking, for frying and all that, that might be much healthier than vegetable oil that cannot be heated beyond a certain, temperature and all that. So, it's a matter of now saying, okay, what do we prioritize first in this environment? Then we now come with all the others. Of course, as for leadership, we'll cut across all nations.
Yeah, and of course, we say we're in a global
village.
Global village.
Yes,
so
global village, but you still need to know your competitive advantage. So that you focus and develop that more, so that it becomes primary, then you have secondary, tertiary, areas of focus.
Okay, so
So in terms of architecture, all you're saying is how we design the kind of curriculum, and then plural curricula, that will be the mix that will give us the best advantage. So, Africa will then be different from Asia. Asia will be different from Europe. Europe will be different from the Middle East. Middle East will be different from North America. North America will be different from Central America. Central America will be different from South America. South America will be different from Oceania, Australia, New Zealand, all of those places. So, basically that's what the architecture, that will be the difference. Of course, when we decide to dig deeper, we can then go into IKEA and the architecture and all of that, so that we now know the foundational issues.
For now.
Yeah, since it's just a teaser, it will stop here.
Just a teaser, so let's not give all our secrets away yet. So what would we say? Because we're concerned about the original patterns God had for education. So what would you say is God's design for education, the educational system?
For those of you that read the Bible, you realize in the Amplified, Proverbs 22, verse 6, it says, train a child in the way he should go, in keeping with his individual gift and or bent. And when he's old, he will not depart from it. Meaning the first step in education is to...
Repeat that.
It says... Okay, the Amplified Version. Okay. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train. He didn't say teach. Train a child. There is a world of difference between teaching and training. Training means you do not only show, you do not only, instruct, you actually demonstrate. You do not only demonstrate, you allow the child to also try his or her hands on it, and then you correct. And then with time, the child can end up doing it, and you learn a thing or two from the child that you even taught. Because train a child in the way he should go. It's not every way that should be the way he should go. Because there is a way that seems right unto man, but the end thereof is death and destruction. So in the way he should go, in keeping with his individual gift and or bent. That reminds me of a scripture like Isaiah chapter 48, verse 15, where he says, I have called him, and he'll succeed in his mission. So everyone has a God-given mission. You came on a mission to the earth, and you will succeed in that mission because you are an arrow shot forth from the womb of God, and you will land on target. But the question is, how do we polish that arrow? How do we allow God to use us to polish that arrow? How do we see teaching as, a privilege, as, that special opportunity to be an instrument in God's hands to fashion his instrument of transformation in such a way that even we will benefit? That is what we need to understand. So at the end of the day, you train a child in the way he should go. It must be in keeping with his individual gift and or bent. And I was just about to say that it's important for us as a first step in education to discover.
Yeah.
Discover what is that unique gift in that child. What is that unique endowment? What is that unique redemptive purpose, redemptive deposit of God in that child? And then help that child not only discover and develop it, but to be able to demonstrate and deploy it for the common good of the society.
So it's a very, I see it as an awesome responsibility teachers have, especially in the basic levels of the education sector.
Yeah, you're right. But do you know the first teachers? Parents.
That's true.
If God meant for the school or the police force or the prison house to be the best agent or primary agents of education, he would have sent children there first. But he sent them to the home first. So the family is the primary agent of education before even the school. So it is important for us as parents to know that we have the primary responsibility. So if we pay others to help us do the work, we shouldn't leave the work purely, completely to them. We abandon, in fact, sometimes we think they're a nuisance, so we look for a play school and just go and dump them.
Dump them then, yeah.
So that's not education.
So I know parents do have that responsibility as a primary
agent of education, yes.
Of education.
Yeah.
But then we know that teachers too are very, very important in the life of a child.
Of course.
And so teachers should see education and the work they're doing as a very important one. Very important, because they're shaping the life, shaping lives.
And by implication, shaping the future of the nation.
The future of the nation, yes. So I think that when we see our role as teachers as an awesome responsibility, we will take it more seriously. So like we say, education is bringing out
the best in man for expression for the common good of the society.
Whether at the basic level, at the secondary level, at the tertiary level, every educator must see themselves as bringing out the best in their students.
So actually, I should see you as giving me a privilege to come into your life to help bring the best out of you, that without that, I will end up being robbed for the rest of time of that special thing that only you can contribute to humanity and to society. That I have that, awesome responsibility, and that I've been privileged to be your second parent, and nobody who is a true parent would say he or she does not love the child. So any educator must educate out of love, not out of the need to earn your money. You must do it because you love the pupils, you love the students, you love those undergraduates that you are supervising, or the graduate students that you are supervising, your mentees, even for those who are coaches, executive coaches. You must do things out of love for the people that you are imparting your life to.
So, all too soon, it's time to wrap up. You've been listening to Dr. Abu Bako on Times and Seasons, talking about the gate of education. What would be your last words?
Everyone is an educator. So ensure that you look for the best in man, that you are best suited to draw out. Each one of us has a special gift. That's why Ephesians chapter 4 verse 16 says the whole body is fitly joined and compacted together by that which every joint supplies, as each part works in the measure of that part. So make sure you actually contribute your part so that the best in that next person comes out for the common good of all. God bless you.
Thank you for watching Times and Seasons with Dr. Abu Bako. This is episode 1. We'll be back with episode 2. So watch out. Meanwhile, keep safe and keep trusting in the Lord and doing what you know you should do in these times that we live in. Stay at home. Keep yourselves. Keep studying the Word of God. Keep having family time and keep studying. We never finish learning. So keep on learning.
Boosting your immunity.
God bless you.